Hi, my name is Willow, and today I am going to be reviewing They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Now, I love Adam Silvera, so naturally I bought this book the day it came out, started the day it came out, and because I had homework and everything in between, of course, I finished this in about 2 days. And you know what? I loved it. I'm just gonna straight out say that. I loved it. It isn't my favorite Adam Silvera book, I know that for sure, but I still think it was a very good book. I'm gonna give it about 4 to 4.5 stars out of 5. Like, I really, really loved it a lot. And I think Adam did such a good job with this world that he created, as he always does. And as, like, I feel like he's never gonna fail to do that. And I did make a whole video about why I love him, which you can check out. It'll be linked at the end of this video, and I will also put it down below, I guess, or in the cards. One of the two. Maybe even both. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this book without saying any spoilers, because I do want to talk about spoilers because I want to get quite in depth about the plot and the characters and everything, and the world that's in this book. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out, and I definitely recommend going into it not knowing anything except for the title, really, and that it's about mainly 2 teenage boys. That's it. That's all I recommend going in with, because I think it's best going in not knowing. Just makes the story so much better. But yeah, I highly recommend this if you haven't read it. And now I'm gonna talk about spoilers. So in Adam's first novel, More Happy Than Not, he included a sci-fi sort of dystopian-ish sort of aspect to the book, and he did the same thing with this one, and I absolutely love that. When the book explained what Deathcast was and what it did for the public and the population of the world, I was like, yes, Adam is back at it again with these little integrations of sci-fi into the story. It just makes it so much more interesting, because, you know, you'd expect this book to be a contemporary novel, and you'd expect that of More Happy Than Not, but they aren't, and it's so amazing. It's so amazing, and I love that, because sci-fi is tied with fantasy for my favorite genre, so to see that integrated into a book that you'd otherwise think of just being a normal contemporary novel is just amazing, because while I love lots of contemporary novels, it isn't my favorite genre at all. In fact, I would probably choose most genres over contemporary, so it's just absolutely wonderful, and that is why I love him so much as well, and I think I talked about that more in my video as to why I love him so much. But yeah, it was just so wonderful and scary. It was very, very scary, because I feel like he must take these sort of like what ifs in our world, like what if this was here, and what if we had the ability to know this, like with Deathcast? What if we had the chance to know when our last 24 hours are gonna be? Like, it's insane. You know, death is something a lot of people fear. Death is something a lot of people, you know, have trouble just generally dealing with, and to have that play such a huge role in the story and have it as a sci-fi element to the story is absolutely amazing, and I love that so much. And I just really liked how we got to see many different aspects to how death and knowing that you are going to die was portrayed in this novel. We were able to see lots of different types of people and their different ways of dealing with this, and it really brought out a great reflection of humanity, I guess, if that makes sense. You know, we have our 2 main characters, Rufus and Mateo, who have come together on their last day, and even at that, they're both completely different in how they wanted to deal with death. You know, while they both feel it incredibly necessary to say goodbye to their loved ones, they deal with it so differently. Like, Mateo just wanted to hide under the covers, while Rufus was like, I need to live my day to the fullest. And they really... Okay, I'm gonna get into the relationship after this, because I was just thinking about it, but they really were able to bounce off of each other in such a positive and healthy way with dealing with death, and I really love that. And now I'm just gonna talk about their relationship, because I think that's a good segue into it, and that's one of the things that I really loved about this book. Now, obviously, it's insta-love. They've known each other for not even a full day. They met on a Tinder-like app and decided, let's do this were gonna die anyway. Well, you can definitely sense it as their relationship develops through the book. It's not revealed that they fell in love till the end, and it's so cute. I really liked that. Normally, I don't like those sort of things, but I feel like the way it was written, once again, something I love about Adam Silvera is that he's such a fabulous writer, not just as like an author or a storyteller. He's just a great writer. I could feel the relationship developing even though it's such a short period of time. Like I said, I don't usually like that at all. I think it's really annoying, but it was just done so well here that I was like, oh my god, why did they have to die? So, oh, it was just wonderful. And along with that, it was really great to see how both of them together worked to make sure that the other one felt okay and was able to not like die in a good way, but sort of die knowing that they've done everything that they could do and that they were able to fulfill parts of their lives that would have taken them a really long time to fulfill if they had lived for longer. But I just really loved their dynamic. It was so wonderful. And I absolutely loved how patient they were with each other, especially, you know, Mateo only had 2 people to say goodbye to, and it was very hard for him. You know, his father's in a coma. His best friend is a single mother living with her grandmother, and she doesn't have a lot of money or anything, and, you know, it's very hard for him. And I'm not saying that Rufus's wasn't hard either. I mean, he'd already lost his whole family, and now he gets this new family, and he gets a call from Deathcast. So it's just really awful, but I just loved how they were with each other, and it was great. It was healthy. And that is one of the number one things I look for in portrayals of relationships, because if you're trying to show a normal sort of relationship, at least have it be healthy and not have it feature abuse and romanticize the abuse. So I'm very glad that it was written that way. Now, along with our 2 main characters who I could gush about forever, I just want to talk about how the different points of views were just really excellent and a great addition to the story. You know, the story would have still been great without them. However, those different point of views really connected everything, and I loved that so much. Having all of these different characters who we've seen briefly in other scenes, or who we follow for the occasional chapter throughout the whole book until they themselves die, or they themselves come across a great realization or epiphany. And I just thought that it was a great addition. Like how I said earlier, Adam's just a great writer. Like, he really is. It's very clear that he takes the time to think about how this is structured. You know, there are a lot of authors out there who just write their story and they don't add anything else to it, you know, different elements that can make it more interesting or build the story more. It's very clear that Adam definitely thinks about that, and I am really happy to see it reflected in this book again, because it was definitely very well, because it was definitely shown very well in the other 2 books that I've read by him. So yeah, it was great to see those different points of views and to see how they add to the story. And as I was saying earlier about how humanity deals with this, like there's the one Deathcast worker who was like, I am going to beat Deathcast and I'm going to jump off this building. But then eventually she sort of crumples and is like, I can't do this. Like, almost as if, not guilt is not the right word, but it's on the tip of my tongue, I just can't think of it, but it's almost as if something like guilt sort of overcame her and she was like, I can't. I really can't. And it was really interesting to see that, because I know that that is something that a lot of people and humans in general would think of doing. I'm invincible, I can beat this thing, but can I really? Apparently not. Like, I don't have the willpower in this moment to do that, and to do something as extreme as that to prove a point. So yeah, it was really, really interesting and really, really added to the story. And really showed how this what if we knew when our last 24 hours were sort of plays out in the world, because this is set in our time and in our Western world. Now, I could really ramble about this book for a very long time, but the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was having our two main protagonists die at the end. So, a lot of people, like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you don't know this already, like, come on. At the end of Allegiant, a lot of people were mad. I was one of them at first. I mean, the ending of Allegiant aside, it wasn't a great book. However, the ending was important, and you know, I'm not mad at the ending anymore, because I feel like after reading Veronica Roth's reasoning for doing it, and also sort of realizing, oh yes, this does make sense to the story, I decided that it's fine. Like, I don't particularly like it, but I'm not angry at it. I do think now, reflecting on it after many years of not having read the book, that yeah, it fits, it's fine, it's necessary, and I'm okay with that. Even if in the moment I really did not like it. But anyway, it's sort of brave that Adam would decide, oh yeah, let's write a book where I kill the characters. It really adds a very, very bittersweet tone and a very melancholy tone as well to the whole novel, because you're reading this and you're like, oh my gosh, they're developing this relationship and they're doing all these things together, but then you're like, they're gonna die. They're gonna die, and it's tragic, really. And I really, really loved how he did that. You know, he really made, at least for me, I'm not sure about other people, but I felt very, very attached to the characters, and I was like, well, they're dead now, so that's awesome. But I really, really liked it. I really liked how it was used as a plot device and as the central premise of the story. I really, really liked it, and it's different. And like I said, I've only read one other book, which is Allegiant, where the main protagonist dies. So I really like the fact that this just was a huge part of the book, and you know, you're expecting it from the beginning because it's even the title of the novel. So, but yes, to wrap up this review, I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought it was great. I thought it was well written, and I loved just the things that happened in the story and how it was crafted and everything. And I would definitely recommend picking it up because it's just such a wonderful story of love and hope and friendship and death. But yeah, like I said, I really love this book. And before I ramble on too much more and make this an incoherent mess, I'm gonna end it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts down below on this book, because I would love to have a conversation with anyone who has read it. And you can subscribe to my channel over here, and you can watch some of my other videos over here. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!